And I think the Southern food and the culture definitely goes beyond just the borders. A lot of the comfort foods we have nationally, I think, is definitely Southern inspired.
Yeah.
And so again, like she was saying, because we have such a varied food cultural history, we can make an amalgamation of anything. But we're also trying to retain some of the authenticity and the respect and the lineage of those foods.
That's great.
Welcome to the Startup Heroes Podcast, a place to learn about business from local Chattanooga superheroes sharing their entrepreneurial journey, their superpowers, kryptonite, sidekicks, and villains. You'll learn about the principles and actions it took these founders to build their dreams, and hopefully be inspired to do the same. Thank you for listening.
All right, hello and welcome back to Startup Heroes Podcast. My name is Chris Wood, and I'm here with Dylan Wissenat and Michael Lardazabal. And today we have the awesome ladies from Poppytons Patisserie. So we have
Delana.
And
Kendra.
And
Amy.
Awesome. So real quick, what is Poppytons? What do you do?
Okay. Poppytons Patisserie is a small local bakery in town, and we fancy ourselves being a Southern-inspired French patisserie. So we're trying to take some of the local comfort foods of the South and give them a little bit of a French twist. Everything that we do is handmade, scratch-made. We make everything. We don't churn our own butter, but we're getting pretty close. So right now we're working out our offerings, and we're aiming to also include a second aspect to our business, which will be a dessert bar, where we'll have nice pairings of desserts and alcohols and all of that, and bringing in sort of the higher end desserts to the area.
Kendra, where do you think Poppytons is going?
So Poppytons is going in a couple of different directions. We have one aspect of our business that will be a French patisserie daytime cafe, where we will have baguette sandwiches and fresh scratch-made baked goods on the daily. And in the evening, we'll flip to a high-end dessert bar where we will have alcohol and dessert pairings, and you'll be able to come and hang out and sit by the fire and roast house-made marshmallows. So we have two different avenues that our business will be straddling in the future.
That's awesome. And how did you recently grow?
We added our new sous chef, Amy.
It's me.
Amy. So what do you do, Amy?
All of the things. No. At Poppytons specifically, I do a lot of the actual hands-on production of our wholesale items. I do a lot of the off-the-top brainstorming that probably nobody asks for, but it's there for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I do have a background in marketing, so I've kind of been trying my best to pick what I like and steer everybody else in that direction. But really, we're all kind of on the same page, which is why we work so well together. And we're working towards all three of us kind of collaboratively doing all of those things. So my mission so far has been to kind of start pulling in where everybody works well into the marketing. And also baking things is important. Yeah. I do that too.
That's awesome.
She's fantastic.
Lots of baking.
That's great. So, weird question. Y'all, none of you are from the South, but it's Southern-inspired pastries.
Yeah, we have caveats, kind of.
We have caveats. So I'm a military kid. So the first 7 years of my life, I actually lived on the East Coast, predominantly in the South. I used to have a Charleston, South Carolina accent. If you wake me up in the middle of the night every now and then, it kind of comes out again. So I try to claim a little bit of a Southern history. Definitely my beginning formative years, I remember a lot of being here in the South. And then Amy herself has been all over the South as well.
I have spent a decade in Florida, which is kind of not the South.
It depends on where. The Panhandle is
No, I don't panhandle.
Alabama,
No.
and the rest is like you're up north.
Yeah. I was in more tourist areas, but I have lived all over. I've lived in cities. I've lived out west. I've lived up north. So it's kind of a smattering of the people and places I've lived around and near are also from the South. So, when you find yourself in an Orlando or a Vegas or a New York, you are not lacking Southern inspiration. There are people from everywhere.
Awesome.
And my mom is from the South.
Okay.
She's from Warner Robins, Georgia.
Okay.
So I grew up with pudding, even though I was raised in California.
No G.
No G. No. Yeah. My dad was from New York, so I grew up with coffee and pudding from my mama. So we definitely have we all have it in our roots in a very different way, but we collectively came here as adults.
Yeah.
In a different way than being distinctly raised in the South.
So do you think that's kind of put you in an advantage where you have some of those Southern roots, but you're not kind of constrained to be a Southern-based pastry thing? Because you can take like whatever Southern thing and put your own spin on it, and it's still Southern rooted, but not.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Delana and I, having spent most of our life in California, are very familiar with the California cuisine. The fusion, the eclectic, the kind of pulling all of those flavors together and marrying them into something new. That's something that we're very familiar with.
Awesome.
And I think the Southern food and the culture definitely goes beyond just the borders. A lot of the comfort foods we have nationally, I think, is definitely Southern inspired.
Yeah.
And so again, like she was saying, because we have such a varied food cultural history, we can make an amalgamation of anything, but we're also trying to retain some of the authenticity and the respect and the lineage of those foods.
That's great. So I'm going to go through each of you, and we're going to find out, why are you an entrepreneur? So we'll start with Delana.
I've been running businesses since I was 19. I've been in every industry that you can literally think of. And at a certain point, you realize that you don't necessarily need to work for anyone else. You can work for yourself once you make the leap of faith to do that. I think I've served my time in corporate world. I've also served my time with other entrepreneurs. And between the spectrum of everything I've learned over the last 25 years, I'm trying to take much of those skills, that knowledge, that intuition that I've developed over all of those years, and put it towards my own dream goals and hopes. And I'm using it as a test case just for myself to see how I can evolve personally as my own person, and how I can evolve as a contributor to a community that I really want to be a part of.
That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Why are you an entrepreneur, Kendra?
Well, I'm Delana's wife, so I think that answers that question. I think that being with Delana for as long as we've been together has empowered me to make new choices. I was a professional dancer since I was 12 years old, and this is really the first time I've done something outside of that in a very serious career switch way. And as a dancer, I've always worked for myself in a myriad of different fashions, but this is the first time that we're really taking that to the next level and building something bigger than outside of my personal being as a dancer, as a personal trainer, as a teacher. It was all based on myself as a person, but this is a way to explore that with partners and to be able to develop something for the community, give back to the community, sit inside of the community.
Went from a solo sport to a team sport.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Exactly.
Cool. All right, Amy.
Well, I have the attention span of a gnat. So, no, honestly, I have had former lifetimes in healthcare and in corporate settings and marketing and social media, and I loved all of that. But I excel at being the ideas person and not so much the just go and do the work every day person. So for me to be in an element where it is made of ideas and that's what drives the business, but not have to be working for somebody else, that's kind of where I like to live. And having lived where I was working for somebody else for so many years under my belt now, it's kind of a perfect amalgamation of like, I've wanted to go to culinary school since I was 15, and I know how to do the business side, and I know how to come up with the new crazy ideas, and I know how to, but I've never had to do all of them together or never gotten to. And so now I get to.
Yeah.
So it's pretty dope. Yeah.
Okay. This is whoever wants to answer it, but what inspired the name and brand of Poppytons Patisserie?
So Poppytons is kind of a combination of loves that Delana and I have. When Delana and I got married, we combined our last names. We're both only children, the last girls with our last names, and so we combined them, and that's kind of where Poppytons comes from. So Poppy is the California state flower, which is where we're from, so we will always pay homage to being Californians. I called my grandfather Poppy growing up, and Delana's father was in the Navy and served on the Lexington ship. And so that's why we're called Poppytons. People want to enunciate our name because there's an O and call it Poppytons. We are most definitely Poppytons, and that's because it comes from the Lexington ship. Yeah. So it's a love of...
baristas do that, and I'm like, I don't think that's right, but I don't know enough to say no, but now I do.
It's not. It's because it comes directly from the Lexington ship, which is why the pronunciation is a little bit funky, but it's, we wouldn't be able to do this business without our families. And so it's an homage to the people in our life that kind of helped us get here.
That's awesome.
Plus, we thought it was going to be really fun to call the bakery the Lexington, and then we realized that we're really close to Lexington, Kentucky.
Right.
Everything that has, like, had we been on the West Coast or somewhere else, that would have made sense. And then we're like, yeah, we were totally for it. We announced it to my dad, and he felt all special. And then we're like,
Just kidding.
just kidding. But it's still there, and he knows it's still there. So,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so time to break into our superpower segment. I'm going to start with Kendra and then Amy and Delana.
Okay.
What is your superpower? And
Me first, really?
Yeah.
She has a few of them.
Like my human superpower in this particular business.
Well, I think that's an oxymoron. A human superpower. No, just kidding.
Thanks, Chris.
Maybe just in your business or just in general, like what you think you're extremely good at or your unique value proposition.
I'm a super taster.
Super taster.
There's my
Okay.
superpower.
Yeah,
I
explain.
have more taste buds than the average person. So
You have scientific like data to prove that?
23andMe.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I went to a winery and they were like, nobody can ever taste what's in this particular wine. And I was like, oh,
And
it's
she nailed it.
hazelnuts. And I was like, people don't know this? And they were like, no. And then right after I did that, my 23andMe test came back and said I have more taste buds than the average person. And I was like, see, I'm not picky. So I think that's kind of something that is very special about Poppytons is that I'm behind everything, tasting everything, and really pushing and pulling those flavors.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That could actually be a real superpower too.
There you go. There you go.
All right, Amy.
Oh God. I would say in a general sense as well as in the business, I notice everything
Sure enough.
and I have an answer to everything. Whether it's a good answer or not is irrelevant. But that's being the ideas person. It's very offhanded to me to be doing what I'm doing and noticing everything everybody's doing and being like, hey, why don't you this? And hey, why don't you that? And like, I don't realize I'm doing it. It's just like hey, here's an idea when everybody is normally head down thinking about what they're doing. And I should also be doing that, but I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the visionaries and the rock stars and the superstars and yeah.
Memory span of a nut.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. All right, and Delana.
I'd have to say that I'm very known as a jack of all trades, and I think that carries throughout all the different disciplines that I can do with whatever project and or business I'm doing. So I'm self-taught in all of the disciplines I've ever partook in. What? So, there's a question from the audience. One moment.
Can I interject? Are you sure that's your superpower?
I don't know. You tell me.
You see 10 steps ahead of everything and are really good at
I do that.
Okay. I was just checking.
So
So maybe
second,
foresight.
I've been involved in every aspect of a business, so I can kind of get into all of it. So
Yeah.
if there's a need or a requirement, I can figure out. I've probably done it, so I am very good at solutioning. And then as our voice of reason to my left
Jiminy
here,
Cricket.
I have a lot of foresight. I really can see 17 steps down the road, and I reverse engineer everything from a vision. And then I can make that happen because I can see what it is cooked, and I know exactly what it needs to be able to make it come
Do you play
real.
chess at all?
I don't, because I've strictly stayed away from chess because I realized that if I learned how to play chess, I probably wouldn't get up.
That's fair.
Like I can get very obsessive.
Your second superpower is the chess superpower.
And
Like,
there's
people have that.
millions of permutations on how you can win chess, and I would want to learn them all. Like when I talk about going down rabbit holes to like learn something, I'm not kidding.
Like a rabbit cave.
Yeah. So
exactly.
I have to self moderate.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. On the flip side, what is your kryptonite, or rather, what drains you when you're around it? What's your weakness? If you never had to do this again in your life, it would still be too soon. And we'll start with Amy this time.
This is the weirdest thing in the world. I realize I'm a pastry chef. If I could banish chocolate from the world and working with it, it would be gone yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't like to eat it. I don't like to play with it. I'm good at it. I just don't like it. And it's weird. That.
I mean, mine would probably be frappes, so I get what you're saying.
Right. Like I love that people love it, and I love that I can work with it. But if I didn't have to, and I didn't ever have to taste it or eat it or all that, it'd be gone yesterday.
That's fair. World without chocolate.
It's weird. And bacon and ketchup. But
Especially chocolate-covered bacon.
I would probably rather die. Yeah. Yes, that.
All right. Delana, what's your kryptonite?
My kryptonite in the strict of the business sense, or just in
Whatever you
the
want it to be.
world? In the sense of the world, I think there's so much that could be done better that people do not do better because of motivation or care. So I'm kind of constantly baffled by sort of half-assed done things. That would be a strong kryptonite for me. In terms of the business sense, at least at this point, when the chocolate leaves, I think if the dishes could also go with it, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Much of the work that I'm sure you do, or especially people that have breweries or 90% of it is sanitizing and cleaning. And then every now and then you have a really sexy, nice product that comes out at the end of it. But you have to do mountains of dishes to get there.
Yeah.
So,
And when you don't, it adds up a lot. And then it just becomes this huge monumental problem that if you just kept up with it in the first place, never would have been an issue.
yeah, there's been a lot of, there's been a handful of crash bangs where the pile has literally gotten too tall and then all of a sudden everyone's climbing off the ceiling because they got scared by all the dishes that have come out. But we're pretty expedited on it nowadays. But
So if we ever hit the lottery, it's brand new dishes and brand new socks every day, no repeats.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I like it. And Kendra.
I think it'd be being an emotional being. I feel people, I feel things, I feel the weight of the world on my shoulders. So pulling out of the emotions into the pragmatic, which I'm sandwiched between two incredibly pragmatic women, which is wonderful. Maybe it takes two of them to balance me out. I don't know.
So you're an empath.
She is,
Yeah.
and the two of us in our stoic natures still is working on trying to balance out the empath.
The calibration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a good team. Good team.
Yeah,
It's a really good skill until it's not, it's really helpful until it keeps you up or makes you not make a decision. And then you're like, why didn't I make that decision?
yeah, you feel it in your soul.
Yeah. And it's like, this is just, I'm just making a cup of coffee. I don't need to feel this strongly about it. All right. So with what you know now, what decision would you have made differently with your business? Hindsight's 2020. I know that's kind of taboo to say now because 2020 sucked, but also a potential answer is you're happy with where you're at and you wouldn't have made any decisions differently.
I think had we been able to do what we needed to do, I would have gotten Amy here sooner.
Yeah.
COVID and all of that really got in the way. For myself, I honestly don't think we would change anything. We've been really fortunate launching a business literally in the middle of COVID. We were supposed to launch earlier in the year, but we officially launched on the 19th of June and
2020.
of 2020. And we've grown, we've sustained, we've met people. We've been, to our awareness, been successful. And it's because I think we committed hard, but we also have a community here in Chattanooga that if you build it, they will come, they will help you set up, they'll sell the t-shirts for you and they'll come back again. So I think we feel a lot of gratitude, and I don't think we would change anything because in a sense, launching a food-based business, which is one of the hardest things to do, the margins are slim, during a pandemic, why would you do this? But we did. It gave us the opportunity to sort of get out in the world without having the full weight of having to be a fully cooked business. We were able to almost go out and beta.
Yep.
We beta
And a
tested.
viable product.
Yeah.
It was an Apple release.
Yeah. And so Kendra and I have always prefaced ourselves in the way that we move through the world that if anything needs to change, we're just going to pivot. It's not a failure. It's not a whatever. If we get to a crossroads and we have to make different decisions, we are excited to evolve and just pivot.
Yep.
So doing our business during this time, I think we've learned so much and we've been well received. I can't think of anything that we would necessarily need to change. I don't know if it would take away the specialness or the mysticism that we already have.
As Rascal Flatts says, God bless this broken road that led me straight to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys wouldn't be who you are today without the good and bad things that have happened. And, like you said, failures aren't failures until you don't learn anything from them. So.
And trial by fire, with everything. I mean, we had to jump through hoops and we stopped and started and, the place that we work out of had to stop a couple of times because of COVID testing. And you do it. You do it. And if you committed, you're just going to keep doing it.
That's awesome.
So,
You agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, say yes and then figure it out is a root belief. So
The entrepreneur's motto.
I mean, I guess it was from a dance teacher that I had followed since I was 10 years old. And so it's been a motto since then. And we figured it out. I think if we had launched with the full dessert bar concept that we had wanted to, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't be sitting in this room with you right now. And I think we're supposed to be here. So it's absolutely went the way that it was supposed to go. I agree. Amy should have been here sooner, but she was on the other end of the phone the whole time until she arrived in person.
She's here in spirit.
Yep.
yeah,
Definitely
absolutely.
was. Yep.
You
I have nothing to add.
Cool.
No.
Why Chattanooga? I mean, Californians, New Yorkians, Chattanooga is the South, but it's not the South,
It's the
S.
South.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. It is, but it's really close to the sweet tea line, So, why Chattanooga? There's so many other cool cities. And
We have friends here. So like I mentioned, I was a dancer, and I have a friend that I've danced with all over the country for years and years and years. And she was constantly preaching about how beautiful Chattanooga was. It's an entrepreneurial city. Like Delana said, if you build it, they will come. And cost of living is 46% cheaper than the Bay Area where we came from. So we were like, well, let's just check it out. Delana and I, at the time that we moved to Chattanooga, were actually headed to Portugal. We were going to go truck around Europe for 3 or 4 years and, come back and figure it out. She, at the time, was brewing beer. We were going to go on a tour and, talk about all sorts of different... We were headed in a completely different direction. And I ran into Jules, who's a friend of mine here. She has the Pop-Up Project. And I ran into her here, and she reminded us of Chattanooga, and we were like, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
We moved in April of 2018, and I was enrolled and in culinary school and in New York City July 3rd of 2018.
I stayed behind to learn the area, network, meet people, partake in all of the business entrepreneurial services that Chattanooga has. We also did a ton of research before we came here to make sure that we would be safe and well received, and that it had some of the things that we needed in life here. And everything really aligned. And I can say we were living in a different city for a short time before we came here, which was not the place we wanted to be. And the second we rounded the bend and saw the bridges, the green, the river,
The brick buildings.
buildings, which from California, like with all
don't
the
have
earthquakes,
those.
we were like, look how tall that brick building is. It freaked us out. But anyway, as soon as we rounded the corner and saw sort of downtown, we were like, uh-oh. And we moved here sight unseen.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
That's amazing. Chattanooga's a cool spot.
yeah.
I love it.
Almost
All
been
right.
here 4 years.
So we're going to break into the second to last section real quick, and then Dylan's going to take over the rapid fire section. But before we get there, so where can people find you? What's your social media handles? Like, how do they engage with you? Amy, you want to take that one over?
So physically, they can find us right now at Proof Bar and Incubator, which is on MLK, 422. We also wholesale items to various coffee shops around town. Shout out to Be Caffeinated. Online, we are most active, I would say, on Instagram right at the moment. We're still building out a couple of new platforms, but you can follow us there at Poppytons Patisserie, Facebook page, Poppytons Patisserie. More to come elsewhere, so stay tuned. Everywhere that we are, you can find us under Poppytons. We're the only one.
Yeah.
So
Definitely unique. All right, and then what do you want people, real quick, just to know about you? Like, what's your thing? What do you wish, if in 2 sentences, if you were elevator pitching to someone, what would you want them to know about Poppytons?
Everything is 100% scratch made. We use super fine ingredients, and we physically make every component and part of our product. And we're super proud about that. And everything is just a labor of love with intention and gratitude in it.
Same.
Absolutely.
you won't find a better mix of people, places, ideas, ingredients, and things in any other singular business in this city.
All right. Dylan is going to take it away with the rapid fire section. We're going to do 5 minutes and 5 to 10 questions, and yeah.
All right. So Amy, we can start with you and then just go down the line. So 1, what's your favorite book, business and non-business?
I don't know if I have a favorite business book. I just started reading a new one. It's called Grit. The author escapes me at the moment since I just started reading it, but it's a really interesting common sense once you start reading it. Look at, you don't have to be the best at something, you don't have to be the smartest, and you don't have to have God-given talent to still beat the shit out of everybody else in the same arena. So I love that. I think that my favorite personal book, God, The Book of Virtues. Are you familiar with it?
I'm not.
It is not a rapid fire answer, but it is an amalgamation of stories, shorter and long, that speak in different avenues to virtues. I'm probably painting myself in a light that if you knew me, you would laugh at me speaking on, but it is a really interesting, different path for each story.
Fantastic.
Book.
Very cool. What's your favorite book?
Personally, Memoirs of a Geisha. Goes back to my teenage years. Fell in love with that book and the visualization. Business, I'm struck between past career and present career. The Talent Code, very interesting book talking about where pockets of talent come from. And Business Model Generator. Business Model Generator. Great book. I know the name of it clearly very well.
Yeah, I think the Business Model Generator is a great book for people that are really starting out. When we start looking at a lot of the business information out there, it's too dense, and the Business Model Generator just cuts to the chase, and it really gives someone a toehold to be able to do that. My personal favorite business books are, I really like a lot of stuff that's written by Peter Drucker. He is the godfather of business. If you look at most business books out there, they somehow lean on his prior works. And my personal favorite books is going to be the Golden Compass series by Philip Pullman. I think they literally changed my life.
This is really good. And then next is, what's your favorite restaurant in Chattanooga?
You would start with me.
We don't let her out.
So yeah, I'm captively held at home. We also live together, so we work together, we live together. It's a very holistic relationship.
We still like each other.
So that being said, with COVID, I just recently actually moved a few months ago. So I have been nowhere, and so I really like Proof is all I know, which is where we work.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Can I pick more than one?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Neutral Ground, Little Oso, Uko, and Calliope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes. 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 To what
All
you
of
said.
those. Yes.
Awesome. Next question is, who's your favorite superhero?
Is it me again? We're just going to keep
Just
doing it
whoever
this
wants to
way?
start,
Great.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I don't know. I don't superhero. I like Superman because he's a regular ass dude half the time.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't superhero. I'm so sorry.
Is Venom's like an anti-superhero? Anti-hero? I like that about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That guy. Deadpool? We'll go with
Deadpool.
We're a Deadpool kind of crowd.
Deadpool.
I like Ziva on NCIS.
She's not a superhero. We'll be here the rest of the day if we talk
She was
about it.
Mossad.
She was Mossad.
Mossad is pretty superhero.
She's a badass, yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
What's your favorite band?
Oh, dude.
Does it have to be an actual band, or are we just talking musical artists?
Just musical artists.
Oh, well. Do you want me to answer for you, Amy? My personal favorite band is Beats Antique. They're a eclectic electric music band, very big in the festival scene in California, and I used to dance and perform with them and tour with them, which was one of the highlights of my career because I love their music desperately. So to have the boys on stage right behind you, best feeling in the world.
I used to work in the musical industry, so it's hard to narrow it down. I've promoted a ton of bands from early 90s to the 2000s. If I were to pick one artist that I'm sort of inspired by right now, I'm really loving Vince Staples.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go super mainstream, I guess, and I don't have a favorite.
Amy.
Liar.
Lies.
Don't lie.
Lies. It depends on the day, but it's usually Eminem, and if it's not Eminem, it's Pink or it's Korn. So
Nice,
I
nice.
know.
Most days it's Eminem.
It's
Eminem.
Okay.
He's one of my husbands. I don't know. We go way back. Yes.
Amy can tell you everything.
His
Eminem.
birthday is coming up in 16 days. Yes.
She
indeed.
loves Eminem.
Very
Yes.
good. So what's your favorite thing to make?
Mom's spaghetti.
For instance.
I like it.
That's not a lie. My dad's Italian. I did not bake until maybe a handful of years ago. I was always a cook. I wanted to go to culinary school since I was like 14. I wanted to not bake because it was way too sciencey for my tastes. Now I'm an anal retentive asshole who wants everything to be exactly right, so baking is perfect for me. But I grew up making meatballs and sauce, and so there's definitely, I think everybody in the food industry, right, is like my parents and my family and my childhood, but it's like that's real. That's where memories start, and so I have yet to make sauce since I've lived here. But that's kind of like when I go into my little happy place is making my dad's sauce.
You made sauce at work, at least?
I did. That's not my sauce.
Oh, no?
No. That's a pizza sauce.
Like
pizza sauce.
My dad would turn in his grave if he was dead.
It was like 20 gallons worth, and it was delicious.
It was all the sauce, yes.
Yeah. I love making tacos. I'm like Californian through and through. Give me a yellow corn tortilla and I'll bring tacos home. At work, though, or sweet. I mean, I've just, for example, I was making a galette the other day, which is an open-faced, hand-folded pastry. And I have memories, again, of my early childhood making those with my dad. So making one for work is pretty cool.
We're like an intro to Chopped over here. Yeah. Next, I'm going to be like, I got out of jail and then I got tired of my career.
Yeah. I like making, at least for the business side of things, I like making anything I can doll up. So when we get to plate it and make it look super fancy, and like I have to use tiny little tweezers and shake like I'm trying to play Operation and put the little mint on it, I like making those. I like the detailing and the finishing work.
And we like that she likes that.
We do.
Yeah. I get a kick out of it. And then we make a wide variety of vegan food, and for some reason it seems like I'm the vegan maker. So I've been really enjoying that, and learning how to make really delicious vegan stuff that you can't even tell the difference. And that's my, hopefully going to be my legacy at some point.
Fantastic. And then last question, Harry Potter, Star Wars, or Lord of the Rings?
No.
Harry Potter.
I've not seen any of them. Am I a horrible person? Yeah. No, that's not true. I'm so old, guys. Here we go. All right. Harry Potter, the first one, movie, came out when I was a freshman in college the first time. And I think I saw it, maybe. It was so memorable that I can't tell you if I saw it or not. I didn't read them. I've never seen any of
my
Star Wars. Star Wars happened when I was a kid, one of them. I saw part of something. There's a big hairy guy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah. I honestly, I mean, this is not a short answer. I don't movie, y'all. I've seen 8 Mile 100 times.
Of course
but
you have.
I don't move. Do I movie?
No.
Okay. So those are all movies, and I'm out.
Okay, well, that breaks my Harry Potter loving heart. Harry Potter loving heart.
I made you a Harry Potter showpiece in school.
You did. It's
I did.
true, but you didn't know what you were
Yes.
doing.
It's
so
fine.
that's
Whatever.
fine. Love the books. Love the movies. Harry Potter all the way.
I saw Twilight.
No.
I did.
Yeah, no.
My
we know to that.
65-year-old mother made me.
Yeah.
I'm moving you out.
Okay.
So the Golden Compass series.
What's that?
Those would be my sort of fantasy that I like. If I
Movies or the book?
the movie was terrible. Did you see that? That was like
Daniel
an
Craig,
abomination.
yeah.
It was the worst. I almost cried. But the books themselves. But if I had to pick from that list for the movies, I think we're a tie between Harry Potter and
We are big fans.
we're super
Yes.
big fans.
Huffle, whatever they're called over here.
I want to be in Gryffindor.
I don't know what's happening. It's fine. I'm out of my depth.
Harry Potter / Lord of the Rings. There's something about Lord of the Rings when you had high school and you had to read all those 9,000 pages that when you see it in the movie, you're like, oh, it all makes sense now.
We don't do rapid fire. Welcome to working with us. This is what our workday looks like. We're
Pretty
like,
much.
let's just talk about this real quick. And an hour and a half later, we maybe have a solution.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Sweet. All right. Well, that'll about sum up our podcast for today. Thanks, guys, for coming out.
Thank
this
you.
was really fun. And yeah, so real quick, what are you excited about making in the next 3 months for Poppytons? Like a new money. That's always a good thing. Yeah.
We just actually launched today our pie pre-sale for Thanksgiving. So we have some really fun flavors that we're really excited about. We have a pumpkin pie with maple meringue, which is just so good.
They're stellar.
And a coconut cream pie, chocolate cream pie. So we're deep in the throes of our pie making right now. So that'll be really fun. And we have some really great fall flavors coming out too.
And this will definitely release before Thanksgiving. So if someone wants to pre-order a pie, how does that work?
The best place to find us is online. You can go to poppytons.com or find us on Instagram, and you can follow the link tree and get to the pie order page from there. We're doing pre-orders. They'll close 2 weeks before Thanksgiving.
Awesome. All right. Well, you heard it here first. Actually, that's probably not true, but yeah, thanks for coming. This was great.
Thank you for having us.
Y'all go try Poppytons as soon as you can. And thank you for listening to Startup Heroes.
This podcast brought to you by HiveThink Media. If you like this podcast and you want to stay in the know of what's going on with us, follow us at HiveThink Media on Instagram or check us out at hivethinkmedia.com. Thank you for listening.